Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher for this week is Jiddu Krishnamurti, and I've always found him one of the most eloquent speakers on the topic of fear. So let's get into today's message about fear and what we could possibly do about fear. When we talk about fear or listen to talks about overcoming fear and hear that everything we've ever wanted is on the other side of fear, it often sounds like the ways to overcome our fears are things like jumping out of an airplane or diving with sharks. But let's be real, most of our fears are not created by our resistance to extreme adventures. Our deepest fears lurk in the shadows of our own self-perception, and the way we feel about ourselves and think about ourselves. The whispers of not good enough and what ifs, they are what really hold us back. Beatrix, very good morning. It is really good to see you. Hello. Sunmurray, good morning. Danae, good morning. Anthony, good evening. Hello, beautiful people. Krishnamurti's message today gets to the root cause of the fears that determine our paths. He says, one of the major causes of fear is that we do not want to face ourselves as we are. One of the major causes of our fear is that we do not want to face ourselves as we are. Good morning, Colette. Hello, Charlene. Good morning. Hello, beautiful humans. The view that I have of myself, what I fear I am, and what I'm scared I might never be. These are the fears that steer my thoughts and my daily actions and reactions. Krishnamurti says, fear is one of the greatest problems in life. A mind that is caught in fear lives in confusion. It lives in conflict, and therefore it must be violent, distorted, aggressive. It dare not move away from its own patterns of thinking, and this breeds hypocrisy. Until we are free from fear, we may climb the highest mountain, invent every kind of God, but we will remain in darkness while we are gripped in fear. He says, fear is the destructive energy in man. It withers the mind, it distorts thought, it leads to all kinds of extraordinarily clever and subtle theories, absurd superstitions, dogmas, and beliefs. Annalie, very good morning, and perhaps even Dylan, good morning. Hello, it's great to see you. And then he says, what is needed, rather than running away or controlling or suppressing or any other resistance, is understanding fear. That means watch it, learn about it, come directly into contact with fear. We are here to learn about fear, not how to escape from fear. Antonetta, very good morning. It is so good to see you. Hello. And then the last thought by Krishnamurti today says, if we come across fear, stare into its eyes, face it, and you will notice that fear fades away. There lives within you both a scared human and also a fearless creator. And you get to choose who steers the ship. Understand this though, you cannot be the fearless creator by pushing away the scared human. If you reject and abandon the scared human, you're causing only more fear. And if you are at war with yourself, you only guarantee that your most fearful parts will fight for control of the wheel. Michelle, good morning. It's great seeing you. Hello. But if you listen to the scared human, if you get really good at listening to the scared human, if you allow him or her to be heard, if you ask them why they are scared, if you seek to understand and hold the scared human, then a softening happens and the fear gradually subsides. And what's more, ask yourself this question. If I am looking at the scared human, if I'm able to listen to and hold the scared human, then who am I being? Well, of course, then you're being the fearless creator. If you're ready, Today's meditation is called a sense of self. We will invite those inner children to come and sit with us so that we can see them, can hear them, and can hold them. You can close your eyes, and we'll take the first few big breaths together. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, then let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. We are inviting our inner children to come and sit with us today. So while you continue your full body breathing, as you feel yourself rise with every inhale and feel yourself fall with every exhale, we are inviting sadness, anger, and fear to come and sit with us. Actually, even ask them to breathe along with you. To me, it always looks a little bit like the grade 1 teacher calling the kids to come and sit on the carpet with her. We're inviting the part of you that sometimes might feel sad, the part of you that sometimes might feel angry, and the part of you that sometimes might feel scared. Could you perhaps open yourself to seeing what this sad part might look like while you ask it to join you in this breathing exercise? Could you open yourself to perhaps seeing what the scared part of you might look like? And then the angry part of you, what would that look like? It's not important that you see any clear image, but it's helpful to just open yourself to the thought of what would the angry part of me look like if I could see him. Let them know that we are inviting them because we want to listen. We want to understand. And in this message from Krishnamurti this morning, that much was clear. It doesn't help us to try and figure out how to avoid fear. What helps is coming face to face with these fears, looking them in the eyes, and then learning how a softening happens as we do this. So we are here to understand. We'll take a moment to listen to sadness. We'll take a moment to listen to anger. And we'll take a moment to listen to fear. We'll even have questions for them to help deepen our understanding. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch and adjust and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Lean your upper body over to the left. And also lean your upper body over to the right. And then one more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least becoming as present as we possibly can be right now, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in. and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips in and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, I want to remind you of these inner children that we invited. The examples that I'm using today are sadness, anger, and fear. You can use these examples because they're pretty simple to use, or you could apply the same process to anything else that you might be dealing with right now. Choose your own examples if you want. So as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, bring your attention again to these inner children sitting with you. See if you can form some kind of an image of what the sad part of you might look like. Of what the part of you that is sometimes angry might look like. And then the scared part. What might that part of you look like? Take your next big breath. So we turn our attention first towards sadness. And we are asking this part of ourselves to speak. We're letting them know that we really are here to listen. And why do we want to listen? Because we want to understand. So with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, we are asking sadness to speak. Remind yourself of the thoughts and the feelings, the emotions that you experience when you're sad. And pay specific attention to the repetitive nature of those thoughts. Every time we feel sad, it is likely to be the same recording playing again. These recordings are well formed in our subconscious. That is where these inner children live. So let's listen to remind ourselves of how sadness speaks. Take your next big breath. Now that you've reminded yourself of the voice of sadness that you sometimes experience, we're going to turn to sadness and ask sadness a question. And this question is almost always easily answered by that recording. The recording has already been created and used thousands of times over. So it's really no surprise that if we ask a question, that the answer will come from that recording. So as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, turn towards sadness. See again if you can form a picture of what sadness might look like. And ask sadness this question. Say, sadness, in those moments when you feel so sad, what is it that you are afraid will happen? What is it that you are afraid will happen? And then just sit back and listen. Take your next big breath. We're thanking sadness for speaking. Thank you for being seen. Thank you for being heard. We know that it's a brave thing to do. We turn our attention now towards anger, the part of us that sometimes, or perhaps even often, feels really angry. See if you can form any kind of image of what this angry part of you might look like. And please remember, it's okay if you don't see an image. Just be open to it. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, remind yourself of the recording that plays when you feel angry. What are the words? What are the thoughts? What are the things you say? What are the feelings? What are the emotions that bubble through you when anger is what you feel? And pay specific attention to the repetitive nature of these thoughts. What is always on repeat in your mind when you feel angry? Take your next big breath. And we turn towards anger and ask anger a question. And again, trust that the answer to this question is in that recording. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, speak to anger this way. Say, anger, I get the sense that you're trying to protect me. I get the sense that you're trying to prevent something bad from happening. So anger, in those moments where you feel so angry, what is the bad thing you're trying to stop? What is the bad thing you're trying to prevent? Then take your next big breath and listen. Take a moment to thank anger. Thank anger for being seen, for being heard. We know that this can be an uncomfortable thing to do. And then lastly, we'll turn our attention to fear. The part of you that sometimes feels scared. And again, as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, ask fear to speak. Remind yourself of what are the thoughts that go through your mind when you feel scared. What are the feelings and emotions that bubble through you when you are gripped by fear? And pay specific attention to the repetitive nature of these thoughts. It is, for the most part, the same recording that plays again and again. Take your next big breath. And then we'll turn towards fear and ask fear this question. Say to fear, hey, scared one, in those moments when you feel scared, what is it that you really want for me? What is your deep desire for me? Then take your next big breath and listen. Take a moment to thank fear for being seen, for being heard. We know it takes courage. Thank you for being here. As we take the last few big breaths of this phase together, bring those inner children closer to wherever they want to be. Do they want to sit next to you? Do they want to sit in your lap, on your shoulder, or perhaps even crawl inside of you? However it comes over, bring them closer, and we'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness slips in and settles in every fiber of your being. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. Our journey today was taking a moment to listen to these inner children, to listen to the scared human. We all have some experience of the scared human within us. When we stop fighting with these fears and we get better at listening, the volume of the fears certainly get turned lower. Because while we are fighting with these thoughts and emotions within us, the fear increases. The fear literally becomes louder. And with fear really loud in our system, it's hard to get anything productive done. but it is learning how to hold these fears that brings down the volume, lessens the noise. And then, if you can take a step back and listen to the scared human, if you can ask the scared human a question and listen to the answer, then who are you being? Because you're not being the scared human. You are clearly now being the fearless creator. The part of you that has arms strong enough to hold all of these inner children. I'll read to you one more time Jiddu Krishnamurti's version of this. This is what he speaks about when he says, one of the major causes of fear is that we don't want to face ourselves as we are. We do tend to struggle with facing these things within us. He says, fear is one of the greatest problems in life. A mind that is caught in fear lives in confusion, in conflict, and therefore must be violent, distorted, and aggressive. It dare not move away from its own patterns of thinking, and this breeds hypocrisy. Until we are free from fear, we may climb the highest mountain, invent every kind of God, but we will remain in darkness while we are not free from fear. He says, fear is the destructive energy in man. It withers the mind, it distorts thought, it leads to all kinds of extraordinarily clever and subtle theories, superstitions, dogmas, and beliefs. And then he gives some advice. He says, what is needed rather than running away or controlling or suppressing or any other resistance, what is needed is understanding fear. That means watch it, learn about it, come directly into contact with it. We are to learn about fear, not how to escape from it. He says, if you come across fear, look it in the eyes, face it, and you will notice that fear fades away. There lives within you both a scared human and also a fearless creator, and you get to choose who steers the ship. Understand though, you cannot be the fearless creator by pushing away the scared human. If you reject and abandon the scared human, you're causing only more fear. And if you are at war with yourself, you only guarantee that your most fearful parts will continue to fight for control of the wheel. Every time you are able to take a step back, soften, and just listen to what speaks within you, especially when it's the scared parts, then you've stepped into the strongest part of you. And now you have choice of how you choose to speak to these inner children. Now that you've listened to sadness, how will you choose to speak to sadness? Now that you've listened to anger, how would your fearless creator, your wisdom, speak to anger? And now that you've listened to fear, how would the wisdom in you speak to fear? We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for the opportunity to take a moment to listen to my inner children speak. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how good we can become at understanding these thoughts, these emotions, and understanding their origin, understanding what created these thoughts and these emotions and what are they trying to accomplish. How are these inner children trying to be helpful? Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to not be at war with any of these thoughts and emotions. How to understand that they're trying to be helpful and just give them the space to be heard. Take a deep breath in. And thank you for learning how, if I can listen to them, if I can hold them, I can also choose how to speak to them. Thank you for learning how to speak to these inner children from a place of wisdom. Not fighting them, not resisting them, but also wisely holding their hand while we take whatever steps it is that we need to take. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for exploring your relationship with these inner children along with us. As Krishnamurti very rightly says, in that very first quote, one of the major causes of fear is that we do not want to face ourselves as we are. Thank you for showing up for yourself and doing the work to face whatever it is that is calling, that needs to be heard, needs to be held. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Sunmary. Thank you, Beatrix. Thank you, Danae. Thank you, Antoinette is who I saw. Wishing you all a really beautiful day. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.